Good evening. I'm Mikey with JMK Custom Works, and this little guy here, that's Zakainen. He's going to read your chats. Zakainen, how are we, sir?
Oh, you know, just living that short king life.
Excellent.
I'll tell you what, I'm actually pretty sad. I'm going to have to go throw away the Figure It Out intro. It's fucking trash now.
What the hell? Why would you say?
Because that fucking intro was fucking banging, dude. That was awesome. I love that thing. The song, the music.
Outro's better. The outro's better.
Oh, fuck. Okay. Well, let's wrap it up
now. That was my throwaway one. Don't even worry about that, dude. I was just fucking around on the shitter with that one, you know. Ain't no big deal.
This son of a bitch.
Who we got in the chat, buddy?
We have got a bunch of people in chat I've been saying hello to, but to highlight some stuff here, Roll Keeper. Now, I tried going back. Ken's Toys actually beat goddamn everybody. That motherfucker hopped in.
He was here when we were setting it up.
When you launched it.
And Tony wasn't far behind him. Legends.
No, that's true. Yeah, Tony was second. I forgot about that.
I hope Ken's Toys shows up with some GD sandwiches. That's what I'm hoping.
Oh, yeah. Yep, the sandwiches. You wanted sandwiches from us. There's some miscommunication on that. We got Cliff. We got Stacy. Rowdy.
Howdy.
Shane. Same Time Toys.
What's good?
Turk Murphy's in here. Papa Kukovic.
Hey, Pop.
JMK. Chat holes, I do. I do like the chat holes.
I was enjoying his hair the other night.
I did. I logged on just long enough as I was going through the stream to see J-Mac with his amazing hair on an open mic, right?
I don't know if the kids still say this, but that shit looked on fleek.
Wait a minute, Tristan, you're in Australia all the time? Or are you visiting Australia? Do we know this? Is this new?
That was probably information we had and lost.
Tristan, let us know about the Australian angle on there. Robert. I used to do that. There was a guy at work named Robert, and I'd sit there and we'd use the mic. He was yard dog out there for plumbing, getting all the pipe and everything. And I always click that mic open and go, Robert.
Got to hit him with that price chopper.
Got to get that bullfrog.
Chat may get that.
My bruh, James Lucas, Mr. President Mikey.
What up, dog?
Mama Kukovic.
Hi, Mom.
We got Tyler, our friend from the Great White North, while they still have country. We're going to take care of you. We're one of the good ones, buddy. Remember that.
Careful. They didn't like that at the hockey game.
Biff Jocko's in the house too, and son of a Crayon Slayer.
Crayon.
Lunchbox Killer.
Sir.
HGC, a man of wealth and taste.
And a couple of happy little bushes.
And Blake Tarpley. He's going to be joining me on Monday on Rumbling and Ranting.
Well, that should be swell.
Alpha Red, what's up, buddy?
And
Larry.
Menchaca. Sir.
Justin Booth, what's up, buddy?
Oh
yeah, I left work early because
North Carolina. Yeah, get out of here. What?
Yeah, our internet was dead. I literally couldn't do anything, and everyone else actually left around 1 or 2 o'clock. And I'm like, why am I the only idiot here? Fuck this.
That's
Bye.
bullshit.
And our internet has our phones too, so no one can call in anyway. So
Oh yeah, okay, all right, that makes
yep,
sense.
Father Son Galaxy, and I think I got everybody. If I didn't get you, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Thanks.
Yeah. So Zach and I had the idea of doing kind of one of these live deals where I could just paint, and he offered to go through the chat and read any questions you guys have. So that's kind of my plan tonight. I think maybe the next time I do this or coming up soon, maybe I'll build one of Dad Nice kits, our Action Assault loadout kits. I'll build one of those figures, and it'll kind of be like kind of a mini series. But for this one, I'm just gonna paint some heads. So that being said, go ahead and swap these around since this is the main dealio. So out of the probably 25 or 30 heads that I have to paint, these are some that I need to get done now, and they're all going to be flesh tone. So I'm going to pull out my my mini paint booth, and oh, would you look at that? How about that?
Whoa.
Yeah, it's pretty nifty.
Like you were like, you prepped for this.
Yeah, I thought about it for 15 minutes or so. Feel pretty good about it. It's just 2 pieces of foam that I attached together with some bamboo skewers, this kind, from the Amazonians, and a piece of cardboard on the ground, and that just traps all my overspray, most of it anyway.
I do the same thing. Like I don't get like an actual ventilated paint booth and shit. I'm like, I usually
one of these days I'll do it. Get a fart fan or something to pull the fumes through a pleated air filter or something. Maybe not.
And speaking of pleated air filters, Ken's Toys pop back in. What's up, hippies? And then right after him, guess what?
Sandwiches?
I don't know. Unknown. Legend Series, who will be on tonight. So we get done 3POA Legend Series. We'll be talking to Laser Pants tonight.
Hard out. You gotta get the hell out of here.
Rock
you go home
out.
But you can't stay here.
And then Blake says, Mike, you should expand on this at one of the cons. Funny you should say that. In-person tutorial like what they did with vehicle builds at DFW.
That is an interesting idea.
Do you want to expand on that now or save that for later?
Yeah, so we're talking to Greg about doing a custom class. We are doing a custom class, Dad and myself. So that will be something we're doing. I don't know how much time we're going to have to be able to do paint and stuff. But we are going to go through we're going to go through the processes and stuff. I don't want everybody to have to 25 people having to go through a paint process in a convention center is not going to be good. And then on top of that, now you're going to have literally wait for paint to dry, and you're going to be walking around
watching paint dry.
It's just not super convenient. So I don't know how much of the process we're going to be able to do. But we may be able to get like some prep done and get you to the point where all you got to do is either rattle can it or whatever you're doing. And then there's the logistic nightmare of bringing
solvents,
4 airbrushes or something, and solvents, and which are almost always a flammable liquid. Most hotels and convention centers probably not okay with that. But we will see. We will see.
We got Menjoza rolling up in here along with Joker J.
Joker J, what up, dog?
But yeah, guys have questions. I will star them, and then we will talk about them as things go.
Yeah, so these might look familiar to a few people in the chat. This is a Dutch for Zakainen, as the Duke Boys for Jeff W. And these are heads that Tony sent me, and I'm painting those in partial trade for this dope-ass diorama he made me for my cube.
The diorama really makes that cube. Well, hell, you got a compliment from that. It was Ted.
I did, Monday. Yeah. Darklaw liked it.
Those eyes are just drawn to that, and I get it.
It does pull it right. It just pulls it right in, and you don't even see what's in it really. You just see the brick.
Yeah, but it does. It just draws the eye.
It
And
does.
then John Garrett also recommends playing Waylon Jennings while you paint, Bo and Luke.
I like where your head's at. Alexa, pull up Good Old Boys. Pull up Duke Boys theme song. Nah, bitch is in the bathroom again.
Daisy.
Hey.
If you get that, you're old. And most of our, I think, audience is kind of like us, and they're old.
I like that you lump me in there with you. That's nice. Feels good.
Woody's in the house over here.
What up, Woody? Oh,
yeah, the gold teeth. I forgot about that. He does. He smelts it. I think Crown
That's
Fox
true.
found that out.
Did she? Did she find out about his
tooth operation?
smelting?
His tooth fairy?
Yeah.
Except it's kind of the reverse. I don't know.
You ever think like really where those ended up, and like if you have jewelry that contains part of that, how fucked up that is?
And Vichay also has been
This
doing
guy.
a lot of customs. So shout out to Vichay here, who also will be working on some custom head paintings.
I don't know if it's true, but I like to think I inspired him.
Let's just go with it.
It's my show. I say we do. So most of these heads are 3D printed. The Duke Boys heads are actually cast, and they are the Migo heads shrunken down and cast. Got those from Spartan 118. He's got some nice casted bits. I had no problem with 3D printed heads, but like a nice solid cast. I know it's not going to warp. Sand's really easy. I don't have any issue with the 3D printed stuff either, though.
Now, these are all from the same guy. They're all from Spartan 118.
No, just the Duke Boys.
Okay.
I think Dutch might have come from Collectible Carnage on Etsy and eBay, and I think Tony got these heads from Loki, I believe.
Oh, Model Misfits, Loki War 2.
Yep. So all these are going to get Kislev Flesh from Citadel. This is the Air. So it's a little thinner. It's a bigger bottle, but it's a little thinner, and I thin it out even more in an airbrush. And I find this is my base for any flesh tones. Yeah, see?
Well, I thought you were a witch and that you've lived for several hundred years. So I guess it's subjective.
Did you get authorization to say that on the show?
Allegedly in Minecraft.
Said in confidentiality.
Well, I'll say this. Here's my question. So when you're going and you're looking at these 3D printed heads, for somebody like me who hasn't purchased one yet, right? Is there stuff to look out for? I mean, before I know a trusted source and whatnot, like if I'm on Etsy, if I'm on eBay and I'm looking around, is there something that jumps out at you? You're like, hey, I don't know this guy, but I recognize like the resin. Like, what do you do? What do you kind of judge?
I don't pay much attention. If it's somebody new that I'm not familiar with, I may just order one, see if it's going to be good, because you never know. Somebody could be showing a picture of a high quality print, and they're printing off of a $40 printer or something that they got on Craigslist or something. I don't know, but I mean, there's so many sources for them now. I feel like the bad ones are weeded out pretty much off the right from the get-go. Like nobody's gonna tolerate that shit.
And then Tony's asking what bucks, which it's for Jeff Wheat. So does he already have the bucks?
The Duke Boys are going on Jonah Hex McFarlane bodies.
Oh, going 1/10 scale.
Mm-hmm.
And then Vichay says, for the record, you were definitely his inspiration to learn
to
paint his own head sculpt. Check
That's
that out.
awesome, man.
Thanks for going along with it, Vichay. We appreciate that.
I appreciate that. Yeah. I don't even care if it's true. Just that you said it means the world.
Oh, and then Joker J was asking, what do you thin it with? Now, I know what I do. You can correct me, but airbrush thinner. Yeah.
Airbrush thinner is what I use. Airbrush thinner is what I use. I wash brushes with good old alcohol. This is just a convenient squirt bottle. And then when I really need to get some shit done, this is lacquer thinner, which I know I've shared with y'all in various chats and forums and such.
And Frankie Doom is on replay.
Appreciate you, Frank.
Thank you, Frankie. Abby's in the house. What's up, Abby?
What up, Bobby? How the heck are you? So just get a couple of liquids.
Talking about the thinner, by the way, I was asking Mikey this because I've got it, in fact, over there. I got a whole bunch of Citadel paints that have, dried up, over time because I don't use them that often. And when I go to use them, I'm like, oh, son of a bitch, I don't want to have to rebuy all these paints again.
Sure.
I'm like, hey, Mikey, is there something I could do? And he's like, thinner.
Yeah, just thin them out.
And so far, that worked.
Nothing wrong with them. They just need hydrated.
Hell hydrate.
And I mean, they're water soluble. So, I always hear, or I did, when I was starting out and watching videos and stuff, which really wasn't all that long ago. We're using acrylics here. So, it's a lot of people just rinse with water, wash their brushes out with water and everything. And that probably gets you by, but airbrush thinner is going to break it down a little bit better, and it's going to evaporate quicker. So your paint should dry quicker too, and you're not leaving any potential contaminants from water like minerals or, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, if you don't have a filtration system in your house, and a lot of people don't, I didn't for the longest time. I know mine on well water especially, you can get a lot of iron, sulfur. Speaking of iron and sulfur, hey Mo, what's up, buddy?
What up, Mo? Who couldn't use a little head? Amen, brother. Sorry, Mom, if you're still in here.
The devil made him do it at the crossroads.
Doom ba doo doo.
Papa Kukovic asks, is there going to be some painting at some point?
No, that was a trap to lure you all here, and you idiots all for it.
Stupid. Gotcha, bitch. KJ Smith, the meme master. Don't get on this guy's radar.
Oh, shit.
Oh, man. Yeah. Yeah. Be very nice to KJ. We will provide sandwiches for KJ. No problem.
Really, really nice to see you, sir. Appreciate you.
78 points. Diggs, Whale. Check those guys out in Highly Posable Fridays. They are awesome. There was Alpha Red had a question. Best glue for doing repairs on accessories, guns, crossbow, and swords, other than Loctite super glue, because it doesn't always work. And I know Mikey and I have ran into this because I broke his custom gun for me for Snake Plissken.
Yes, that's true. So what I should have used on your custom gun was, what is that stuff called? MEK. Because it was the part that was glued was
styrene.
And that turns styrene, like bonds it immediately. It's fantastic. For regular plastic and stuff, you're just talking about like Hasbro stuff. I get this extreme thin from Hoblob, and then I just got a bunch of these little pipettes that just go on the tip, so you can really get that precision with the tip.
Now, did Hobby Lobby also have those on the tips?
I think they have some, yeah.
Okay. Didn't know if you had to do Amazon.
I did Amazon because I wanted them in bulk as much as I used it. So.
Well, and I know the answer to this one, but this is a good question from Rowdy about. She asked, "Do you use water slide decals for eyes or paint?"
No, actually, I don't use water slide decals because I like these the punishment of having to paint eyes and stuff like that. It's really dumb and unnecessary. But I do like the outcome of eyes. I never think decal eyes look right. there's nothing wrong with it. It's a personal preference. And I also like the bragging rights of being like, yeah, I paint all the eyes. You know, I like that.
Yeah. And we talked about that, like markers versus the brush, and you're like, you just don't get that precision with a marker. It's just, too thick, right? You don't get it as precise.
Right. Oh man. All right. I made a mistake. I did not prep that head. I might not have prepped many of them. So retroactive.
Well, when you say prep, are you talking about putting primer on them or scuffing them up, or what do
No,
you do?
I don't ever put primer on it. This scale, I hate that it washes out details.
Yep.
So I'm just gonna go with the alcohol again. And
so for the 3D printed head, all you do alcohol.
That's all I ever do. Yeah.
And then Harry O, hi guys, first time viewer, long time stalker. What's up, Harry?
What
Glad
up,
to have
sir?
you.
Appreciate you.
And
coming
then
through.
now we had Tyler North. Now we got South. We got Alex S. What's up?
What
Como
up, Alex?
está? Donde está es biblioteca, Alex, mi amigo? What's up, buddy?
Bueno.
Now I'm hungry.
I feel like I haven't seen Alex in chats in a while. Good to see you around, man.
Joker J says, good to know. He does finish at work, but never airbrushed. Airbrush definitely is something that I have been trying to make myself get comfortable with. Usually I just do, when I do airbrushing, I'm just doing like primers for like my miniature stuff, my D&D.
Sure.
Stacy's, there's a lot of foreplay here. We like building up that suspense.
Yeah, I know the painting isn't going to last very long, so you gotta put a little show into it,
I don't know, but every time someone puts dots or they use quotations, it sounds like they're making it dirty. Fox, stop it. Double J in the chat, and he is asking, what's the most difficult paint color you've had to make on your own?
Oh,
like trying to do a color match or something?
I know the answer to that right off the bat. So for Fresh Monkey Fiction, they had those Santas, and the green one that I painted, the paint master for it, they had a super specific shade of paint. Now it wasn't specific enough to have a Pantone code, and I'll show you what that means in a minute. It's basically a paint guide where each color on a color wheel has a specific color code. So if you take it to a factory and you say, I want this painted in FLK 00875, then that is the color that it will be painted.
Gotcha.
So it wasn't that specific. It was the guy that did the design work had just picked a very specific color when he was doing renders, and that was the color they wanted. So I ended up, I probably bought a dozen bottles of different shades of green, trying to get the right color.
Now, was that the green camo version of that Santa?
No, not the camo one.
Okay.
The camo was pretty loose. This was the one that was kind of green and gold. He had a long coat. He ended up, he looked absolutely fantastic. I was really proud of it. But that green took me, and again, this isn't my full-time gig, right? So that green took me weeks to get that right. And I felt terrible because, I was like, I should have had it done already, but I was having such a hard time with the color. So that was probably the most difficult one, I would say.
And a real quick shout out to one of our internet papas, Yojo Jerk.
Oh, what up, Jerk? How the heck are you, sir?
What's up, Jerk?
Use Jerks.
One of the main damn reasons I'm streaming, because of this guy tricking me and Just Jeff into streaming, doing our first live. That guy. Make sure to check out Jerk. Thursday on the Mega Powers.
That's tomorrow.
Yep, that is tomorrow. Him and
7:00
Gaines.
Central.
Because our show, Figure It Out, is right after it.
That's right. Sometimes, occasionally, there's a little bit of an overlap, but you can't.
Which is fine because I mean,
after their show, we are going, so you can come right on over. You know, after you gotta let Spicy Tim pop it off a little bit. Like Thursday's just not complete without Spicy Tim.
Keanu says, remember guys, after cleaning your brushes, you have to beat the devil out of it. And I brought this up just because when you said using thinner alcohol, like to clean brushes, yeah, I was an idiot. I've been spending the 20 and 30 minutes with water.
Yeah, I never liked how long it took. Like, why not just get a chemical, break it down, and not even have to worry about it? Like, some people use those cleaning pots, and I don't have any experience with those. But this Danny Trejo's good. Look at that. Oh, looks like Danny Trejo.
James Lucas is going back to Replay Squad. Appreciate you, brother.
Appreciate you, sir.
And to follow that, Turk Murphy Solutions, a little alcohol will help that super glue flash off faster.
That's a good tip. But that's a hell of a tip.
Which we do. We talk about it ad nauseum. There's a lot of people that do customs, and they all share tips and tricks, man, amongst each other too. We have a lot. I'm gonna say 99% of our little community likes uplifting each other.
Yeah, I would say so.
Is saying, hey, do you ship to Australia, Mikey? So apparently he's there for the duration here. He understands if it's too expensive. He looked on the Valaverse site and it was like 64 Australian, more than the cost of the figure. Damn, that was for one figure. Was $64 to Australia?
That's the shipping, or that was like the total? Like it was, like $30. That's crazy.
Well, that says more than the cost of the figure. So I'm saying, yeah, it was 64 for just shipping.
Oh,
God damn,
that is crazy. I've never shipped international. I've shipped to Canada, so I guess that's not completely accurate.
It counts. That's international.
But that's usually why, is because it's crazy expensive. I mean, you're going to order a $25, $30 custom, painted head, and then you're going to spend $60 to ship it. That's insane, is what that is. And I'm the guy with the stuff.
Listen to this guy. What a legend series. Make sure to hit that like button. And then we have a TNT Skate popping in. What's up, man?
What's up, buddy? These figures with the bills are always so hard to get the light under them to make sure the coat.
Oh yeah, when I'm doing like miniatures, like anytime there's all these folds, like there's a cape and everything.
You got to keep like rolling it in the light and making sure you got the coverage. God forbid you're painting yellow or white, because you're almost always going to catch it later. You're like, shit.
Yep.
I missed that spot entirely.
And I will say this, for me, it's having I'll like get a bright light. Not while I'm doing it all the time, just for that purpose. So I can sit there and kind of roll it over and take a good look and some great lighting.
Oh yeah. I mean, that was part of the reason I got this light, because I can turn it like way up and really, really look at it.
Well, speaking of customs, Tony's Figs. He's had just some bangers he put out on his Facebook.
Oh, dude, those freaking
Delta 17
are just top notch, brother. Top notch.
Shout out to Tony. And Chris, Cutthroat Comics.
What's up, sir? Buddy?
And people are joining in. If you have questions about customizations, tips and tricks, ask away. And I will do my best to catch them, by God. Like this one right here from Woodman29. What's your preferred paint choice for airbrushing and regular brushing?
Paint choice. really either way. I do really like Citadel. I hate the pots. I think
Yeah,
most people
I
that
do.
use Citadels agree with that. So I don't know why don't they just go ahead and improve on that format?
It's like you want to shake it right, and then they got that little lip, and you want to take it out of that little lip deal, and I think it causes more problems than anything. Yeah, I'm not a fan.
I agree, and I mean it's really good paint. Like I don't dispute that, but it sucks. It sucks a little bit for bigger stuff because that means your pot is open longer. And then if you get any kind of rollover, past the spill point where it goes into the ledge, it just dries out and then nothing seals. You have to dig it out. It's kind of a pain. But the paint is really good. But I would say my favorite, I look forward to them getting some more colors. But is this right here? You gotta focus. You gotta focus.
Focus.
Come on, big fella. Come on, you son.
No, I don't want to focus. You're not my dad.
Look at it. Look at it. Look at me. There it is. It's the Duncan Rhodes Painting Academy. 2 thin coats is the line. Their white and black are phenomenal. I've used a couple of their other colors. They kickstarted another series. They're also English. I don't know what it is about the English where they make such good frickin' paints, but almost all of the paint I use is comes from the Brits. So hats off to you, mates.
Brian King popping in the chat. Mr. King, how are you doing, sir? Robert is trying to correct me on the community, and we can be, by the way, I like using both.
Yeah.
Suck it.
Suck it, Trebek. Yeah.
Then we had a couple up here. Blake is saying, Mikey is the hardest thing to get right on heads the eyes. I think it makes it or breaks it. Got to center the eyes and nail the highlight, in his opinion.
No, that's 100%. That is definitely the most difficult thing. My call it a trick is when you paint the eye, right? You go for the white, and then you go for the iris. And the best thing I can do as a guide for the iris is get a really fine brush and put the dots there, and then you can kind of see like which way you need to go and kind of build out the parameter of the iris as you go and make sure that they reference each other, And then same with the pupil, although much smaller scale. And then once you get the iris, the pupil, then you can do the eyeliner. I usually just do a top eyeliner, so just the top lid, and that frames it in usually pretty good. And usually you can do I would normally do a highlight before that. The eyeliner is kind of your last touch. It's like the picture's painted, now you're putting it in a frame. Last thing.
Oh, that's a great way to describe it. And then Son of Crayon Slayer was asking, what is your favorite OD green?
Ooh.
Here's me going, OD.
Olive drab green.
Olive drab. See, you guys, your military jargon.
OD, yeah. Well, my favorite is discontinued, but it would have been Model Masters for sure. When they left, that kind of forced me to look into other paints. That was when I found Citadel. And there's lots of really good paints out there. I haven't experimented with some of the really new brands like AK, stuff like that. With enamel paints, I use a Humbrol. It's another British, and they come in little cans. Most of Call Sign Longbow Paint Masters were done with Humbrol paints. Look like this.
I was probably catching the. Oh, there we go. Boom.
So there is matte khaki 121. Yeah.
Oh yeah, flash the barcode.
UK.
Actually, that might help. You show that barcode on the very bottom. Apparently kids can use that to scan stuff online, I guess.
You kids and your fancy technologies. There you go.
Yeah, that should work. Yeah. You got Nicotronus popping in. What's up, Nico? Kaiju, fucking kitty.
Hell yeah.
Jacob, I'm always like Rail. Jacob Rail.
Ral. Rich Corinthian leather.
And then yeah, Mikey, he's asking if you're making a custom Gain sculpt because yeah, Jerk is like, hey, is that a toy Gain's head?
That's gotta be, he's gotta be talking about the goon here.
I was drawing a fucking blank. I'm like, what are they talking about?
He's gotta be talking about this big fuck. The terrible thing to say.
But yeah, Tristan is saying he's Australian, so that's how he got to work on the Pacific because it was filmed right over there. So that's cool.
That makes sense. That makes
Another
sense.
Australian. Crikey,
Well,
mate.
Good on you, mate.
And then Woody's asking, can you send him a link for that light purple paint you used on the Sentinel heads? Because he wants to get a bottle.
Well, let me see if I can give it to you and you can find a link. I believe, interesting name on this paint, but it's called Mutant Hue by the Army Painter.
I do like Army Painter.
They're really good. I've only recently really started using them. But I really like them. I like that their elf green is a pretty good OD green.
And he was asking about the light purple.
Too.
The light purple that you used.
Yeah, this is the light purple.
Oh, that's the light purple. I thought there was flesh tone on here on the camera.
Yeah, that's the light purple. And then I got this one. This one ended up being just a little too dark. But yeah, that's the one. Mutant Hue.
Hue.
That's a mutant hue in it.
And Abby's asking, what do you recommend for a sealant that doesn't leave a sticky layer?
Sealants, I use. Where is it?
Beardless Toys.
You don't know it. That's what it looks like underneath there.
Oh wait, hang on just for a second here, Shane.
Okay,
you can go fuck yourself.
Oh, that's Shane. That's fucking hurtful, dude. That's
Son
hurtful.
of a, well, he just made the goddamn list.
Oh shit.
Skyfall,
what up? Yeah. So I use the Army Painter for their varnishes. This is from the Air series. You can get these on Amazon. Now, if you've got a hobby store, I always encourage you to get it from the hobby store. Help them out. Like almost all those are small. Two Thin Coats is fantastic. I can't say enough
I had
about
not
those.
Them before on Two Thin Coats.
They're small, man. They're small, but dude, their black and their white are absolutely unparalleled.
So Amazon, or where do you pick those up?
I get these at my local comic shop. I don't know where you can find these outside of that.
So probably a hobby store, maybe. Well, I won't say I haven't seen those at like the Warhammer store, but I haven't gone looking for that.
Yeah, I don't, like I said, I don't know how big they are because they kickstarted their product. And they've done it 3 times, but this white and black are from the first line. The second line is what will be coming to my store soon, but they've already got a third wave in the UK. So I don't know what the, I don't know what the distribution is like with that. I don't know if it's really just my guy getting in touch with them, like, hey, I'd like to carry your product. What do I got to do? Or if there is a greater distribution in the States. Shane, I agree. I really do like the Army Painter. Really solid products.
Oh, and speaking
of their varnishes, money.
Loki Wartooth over Model Misfit. What's up, buddy?
What's up, sir? I'm just painting some of your heads over here.
You just made the list.
Another good one is Mission Models. This is their clear coat. This is a semi-gloss. It's a little glossier than I like, but if you handle them at all, it loses the right amount. I know it's kind of a weird way to think about it, but Mission Models, this is a good brand. I would very, very heavily recommend if you use their thins or their clear coats to use their thinner with it. I don't know what it is about the formula, but they work best together.
Loki likes the Rhodes colors.
They're really good. Really good. When I did I don't know if you guys saw my yellow alley viper I did in November, but that was their yellow. And if anybody's ever painted yellow, you know it is one of the most fickle colors you can possibly try to cover anything with. And it did really good coverage. I think I did 3 thinned coats, but it was great. Really solid with how it came out.
And JMac has a question. Can Mikey help? I think that's the question, because then it just says Forrest Gump. I don't know if JMac's using code. I don't know.
So what that mean?
what the hell you say?
What the hell?
And Joker J was talked about. It's not a question, but he had a single hairbrush, which I had some friends that would do that.
Damn.
For just for those miniatures and just going.
That's brutal. That is brutal.
I use the hair off a frog. A single hair.
Now, for my fine work, I also refer to the Army Painter. I use this Psycho brush.
Oh yeah, I got one of those.
And it's pretty fine. But that's pretty much how I paint eyes, is with this brush. I always keep 2 or 3 of them on hand.
Just so you can go back to the other colors and you're not having to clean one and then keep going back and then rinse and repeat, literally.
Yeah, for sure.
And then Tony's asking, do you think the tombstone body would be good fit for that goon's head? I thought that was Thanos. I really did.
I could definitely see that. It's not very. Yeah, maybe. He's got the right build for it.
Man, I'd almost want to go like a McFarlane buck on that one.
Yeah, he's got a massive head.
Because in the head, I mean, he's got that big torso, but then he's got like those kind of smaller, shorter legs in the proportion, in my head at least.
Yeah. Yeah, and there's like the scale on like the Hydra goon. Oh,
heck, I might even like go Mr. Fix It.
I try to find like a Mezco body. Whichever ones didn't get harvested
randomly. Yeah. Tony's saying a Mezco body would.
I mean, that seems like what it's set up for. Man, that's a massive cavity.
Oh, J-Max saying Figure Fight Club has a Forrest Gump character that looks like a hit by a bus. He needs medical surgery. Mikey, right? Okay. All right. And then Jeff is asking, what's the worst part of a figure to paint?
Joints.
Oh, that would make sense.
Joints, because you can never tell if you removed enough material. I mean, you can gauge it, but you really never know until you paint it and then you go to turn it for the first time and pray to God it doesn't scrape. But that's the worst part. And it's not all that bad. It's just frustrating sometimes.
And then Lunchbox is asking the best tip on dry brushing figures, not overdoing it. I mean, probably.
Yeah.
Because you can always go back with more. So less is more, is, you know.
Absolutely. Yeah. With dry brushing, it's avoiding your paintbrush being wet. I mean, it really is the namesake. And then depending on what kind of finish you're trying to get, you know, you may want a stiffer bristle of a brush, which usually means like buy like shitty cheap like nylon brushes, you know, from Hobby Lobby or something. Show you. Can go through I can go through one of those. Let's see here.
Maximilian Tucker's popped in a chat. What's up, buddy?
What's up, man? Good to see you. Thanks for popping in. So let's see here.
You got that big O head.
Big old head.
Big O.
Right, so
Showtime.
got an FAL here. And it's already been painted. It's been painted for probably a year or so.
Now,
I've just got my liquid chrome marker.
Is that 3D printed gun on that one?
It is, yeah. It's not gridiron. It's from Etsy. It's a guy I bought tons of stuff from, but Anthanatos Unlimited. It takes 6 to 8 weeks to get it, but he does really, really nice quality stuff. Yeah, dry is not always dry. I'll show you.
And he's
so if you're doing like a rifle, moist is just a little moisture. If you're doing like a rifle and you want to show it like weathered a little bit, this is kind of my technique. So I'll take my chrome marker and I'll just get a little bit out on the base there. Maybe a little pun intended. And next, I'll get one of my shitty hobby brushes. You know, these little guys.
Yeah, because I mean, if that's another thing people take for granted is everything I've ever read when I was doing dry brushing is just grab a crappy brush you don't give a shit about.
Yeah, it really is. You're just gonna dab on it, and you're just gonna.
And then, yeah, I mean, all that I love dry brushing. Like, if you ever, I would say for people in custom work, if you want to start off, dip your toes into something like cosplay, D&D miniatures, whatever. If you're crafting, dry brushing and weathering just makes stuff pop.
It does. So there you go. You just got a little magazine wear. Now, the more you get into it, you know, you can look at reference photos and actually see like where the items weather, because like there's no point in weathering, you know, a plastic hand grip. Like there's not going to be metal exposed like a magazine, or you know, a foregrip. Like there's not going to be that kind of stuff, or you know, directional weathering.
Yep.
You know?
Sometimes one direction looks so good.
Yep. Right there. There you go. So yeah. So I mean, like this rifle, right? This is an FAL. You know, and you can see like, you know, its ejection port is right here. So that means your cheek is going to be right here, right? So maybe you want to put a little extra weathering right there, right where the oils and acids from your skin would rub off of the coating, but not necessarily the buffer, you know, the butt plate, because it's probably synthetic. It's probably rubber. So you would just just put a little extra here. Gotcha, bitch. And then with that chrome marker, I definitely rinse the brush off in the lacquer thinner, because that is
well. And that kind of leads into Mr. James Lucas over here going, do you ever use acrylic paint markers, and if so, what brand do you recommend?
Really the only time I ever use them is for chrome. I have some that I've used for others. If you saw the custom I did for Chad, his tattoos were a chrome or were a marker, and the ones I got were just some decent priced ones on Amazon. They've got a chisel tip and a precision tip, so and then some of them there's a fine tip. So there's three different tips you can get with them. So I figured that was going to be my trial, and they worked okay. I just I don't get the detail I want out of them.
Yeah,
and that's just kind of part of why I use the stick with the paint, is because that gets the results that I'm accustomed to, and that I think the people that order work from me, I feel like that's what they're accustomed to as well.
Yeah, for me, since you know I'm not a professional, like I can't remember if it might have been, I think it was Tony actually, Legend Series was talking about some acrylic metallic markers, and I grabbed some Gundam markers for some of the line work, like on Colossus or Cable. And then I used it for some sunglasses too. I was like, boop, put that in there. And I really like those Gundam metallic markers off
The
Amazon.
Gundam markers are really nice. Yeah. And those would probably get closer to the detail you would get from a paintbrush. And lots of people that use those and they're good. They're really nice quality. Backstreet back. All right.
You gotta have some of that heavy metal barrel burn.
Heavy metal.
Jason
Yeah, you were
Statham.
saying what's the job? Heavy metal.
The job.
Heavy metal starring Jason Statham.
You know he's gonna have a fucking movie, right? Because it's always he's got a job that he does, right?
Yeah.
So the next one's gonna be roadie. Look,
Yeah.
I'm a roadie, right? I
So here
carry
I
things
am,
from there to there.
hauling the gear from the van up on the stage, and I see this bloke in the galley. He's giving me his stink eye ears. Yeah, he's roadie.
Every movie, every single one.
For sure.
He's got a job.
So you were saying like the entry level for customizing it would be like weathering and stuff. And weathering is just it's highlighting. That's how you're hitting the high points of something. So once you got that down, well, then the next spot would be doing your lows. So you get like the Citadel makes these shades, and you can make your own shade. You're just really diluting down a color. But this is Agrex Earth Shade. This is the one I use the most of, but this gets you good shadows. It's kind of like a brownish black, like dark mud. So if you put this kind of brush it on, it'll sit into the low spots and give you good contrast. So on top of the low spots, then you could do highlights, and that gives you all of the depth of your painting.
Just that extra level that really makes everything pop.
Yeah, it takes it from being a toy to being something that looks good on display. You know what I mean?
And if you have the money that you've given to Games Workshop, brother, I'm with you. I get it over time. And me, that's paints and that's models too.
Sure.
Jesus.
Sure.
Then Jacob was asking, or no, I'm sorry, he was saying he can't tell him that head sculpt isn't a 90s image, comics toy gains.
Well, I mean, I would argue that that's where they got the inspiration. Like that could very well be.
And then Joe Fan, what are we working on tonight? Working on tips and tricks.
We're just getting a little head done.
Just getting some head done and answering some questions. I
highlighted
another Joe Fan right after that. When he said the Gundam markers are nice, he wished he had a steady hand. Well, one of the things that we talked about last night prepping for this is, again, take things for granted. Posting your hand up on something to steady it.
Yeah, like airbrush is fine because this is pretty much always where I airbrush, right?
Yeah.
But for hand painting, especially something that takes some detail, like if I'm working on, an insignia or a patch or eyes, I want to get, right here. This is where I want to do detail work. Just right here because my hands are
running the
braced
edge
right here, so it's really all finger muscle. You're not wasting energy holding your arms in one spot.
Forearms, your wrists,
with your fingers.
And yeah, Maximilian, when you said that, the first time I did a pair of sunglasses on that bone breaker, it was real easy for me to get a little bit on the rims themselves. And yeah, I just got a fine tipped bamboo Q-tip, alcohol, boom, came right off. And then Woodman was asking, what are your thoughts on Tamiya paints?
I've used Tamiya a little bit. Not much. I always thought they were really expensive. And so it just kind of led me to other avenues. Like Tamiya's paint's nice and thin. It's easy to work with. But the Citadel stuff is almost like it's concentrated. So you're getting you're getting a little more bang for your buck, I think. But the quality of the paint of the Tamiyas is fantastic, and I use a lot of their stuff. Their rattle can super fine white primer, amazing. It's freaking great. It's expensive, but
Yeah.
anybody that buys hobby paints knows that rattle can paint is expensive going for quality stuff. If you're getting Army Painter or any of those, they're like $14 a can. You know, whereas Tamiya, that little can, it's like half the size, and it's like $9.
Oh yeah, and Tony's saying he likes.
Oh, their metallics are fantastic.
Which I mean, it kind of couples in there with what Loki's talking about. Yeah, war paints. Oh, Model Air is one that I kind of like as well for like
I don't
not
think
detail work for airbrush. It's like it's an airbrush paint. But yeah, it's like you find different paints that go really well for different things. In fact, that one I was talking to Mikey about the other night was that the Green Stuff World. They had a whole bunch of color shifting, so super specialized paints. But if you're looking for some color shifting paints, I fucking love those things. So it's like you try all these different like brands, Mikey, and you find out like one, like Tamiya's metallics are just that much better, you know, than say Vallejo.
Yeah, one of the few colors that I really used for quite a while was actually their gold, and it was because it looks amazing.
Oh, Four Feathers in a chat.
A Four Feathers?
Popping real quick to show the channel some love. Not feeling too good. Well, sorry, buddy. Get to feeling better.
Man.
But definitely gonna catch this on replay. So side B crew represent.
Appreciate y'all.
And he's like, "Oh, and Mikey, those customs you did for Woody."
I appreciate that.
Yeah,
we got another plan to do some more of those too.
Hell yeah. And yeah, I was telling Mikey about this again. Yeah, man, the plague has been going around my place of work. Holy shit balls.
Can't wait to get some sex robots. You know what I mean?
I still, until you brought it into focus, I was like, man, that's like dead on Thanos.
I could definitely see the Thanos, yeah.
And then Maximilian Tucker, Mikey, ever tried doing green underneath your flesh tones?
No, I've never done any colors underneath flesh tones.
Doing like a layer.
Interesting. Interesting. No, I've not tried that.
Miss the old foundation paint. I haven't heard of that one.
I miss this shit.
Oh yeah, Loki, the liquid pigments. Yep, Model Master. Yeah, Green Stuff has got a suite of stuff. Man, inks. I really like their inks. Again, every time I talk about this, I'm using that stuff on the D&D stuff, but now I'm trying to transition into the action figures and using those techniques. Well, I'll tell you right now, we talk about this with 1/18 scale with you. I have to imagine, working on a miniature to a 1/18th, and then it's like you've just got a gigantic canvas when you're working on 1/12 scale.
For sure. Yeah. Yeah, and I mean you can get some really solid. I mean, I'm sure most of us are familiar with the guys that paint miniatures that have like the Instagrams and stuff where they are crazy detailed and they're doing like the light reflecting off of parts of them, all that kind of stuff. So you can get detail on tiny scales. You can get detail in 1/18, but you know, for example, like my Jackal custom, like doing the Skeletron logo, like would be super tricky on 1/18, and you just wouldn't be able to get it. But you can see the detail. Like, Jesus, Murphy, he's filthy. Good Lord.
And by the way, this is a segue. What I use to clean my action figures with is a makeup brush.
Oh yeah.
They work really well, man. I love for the detail stuff. Like I'll use a Swiffer on the large items, my vehicles and whatnot. But
yeah,
if I need some detail stuff, makeup brush. And sorry, pump the brakes on the show.
Pump
Scuba Pete.
Scuba Pete. What's up, buddy?
A fucking
My God.
legend has entered the
I
chat.
haven't seen you at the age of a dog.
What's up, Scuba? Then, yeah, I saved that. I need to look into that gold pigment and mixing it with clear. I saved that's for me. I saved that for me. Nicotrona says best spray can he's ever used are plutonium paint, automotive formulated acrylic sprays and a mist, 17 a can, worth every penny.
Interesting.
Nicotronas, by the way, yeah, I was also talking about this. Those dreadnought cycles he made from that 3D heat sensitive resin.
Yeah.
Fucking badass.
That's dope. That's cool.
Boom, 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 boom.
What's up, buddy?
Everyone showing some Scuba Pete some love here.
He's the one they call Scuba Pete.
K-Mac is in the house. What's up, K-Mac?
What's up, sir?
What I like is you've actually, you've put flesh tones to those heads, and it was like Bob Ross. I didn't even notice it. I just looked over and look, it's painted.
Done. Yeah, so that's a couple of these I might hit again. Like you can really see them on camera, like the different like resin colors kind of changes the way they look. So this Dutch still looks kind of brown. So I might hit these. Oh,
we'll have to.
Is that what you did?
Apparently, we'll have to stop. We'll stop the show again because I am not an island by myself. Don't be stealing shit. Okay. I don't like to be known for swiper. And listen, Mikey, I am old. Perhaps I didn't watch some random YouTube video. Perhaps it was Laser Pants who gave me that idea for the makeup brush. So a full credit goes to him and for inventing toys, period. Good job.
Ryan, thank you. Thank you for your contributions.
And actually, while I'm thinking about this,
link them up.
I'm going to link that up now. Because after we are done, he is interviewing our boy Tony. Legend Series, also false finish. Or is it false start? I always fuck up Tony's other false wrestling finish. Deal.
False starts are bad.
False start. But he is going to be on 3POA tonight, talking to Laser Pants. Definitely check them out after this, which is
that'll be really
7:30. We got all kinds of time.
We got time.
We got all kinds of time. Now, speaking of time, because I'm also speaking of Tony, it gave me the name Segway. How long do you give those to dry? Do you have a time frame, or do you just kind of like touch on the edges and see if there's tack? What's your
I think
style?
It's just like I've just developed like kind of not really an internal timer, but I know like if I wait 5-10 minutes I can reapply a coat. No.
I can't wait for a diss rap song. Yeah,
he's going down.
I know I've made it when I get like my own internet beef video and diss rap. Oh man,
I feel like you've been working on trying to get an internet beef for months now.
Well, I tried with France, and that fuck man. Apparently they've got other shit they're dealing with because nothing.
Well, yeah, I mean they're worried about their president being married to his dad. They've got stuff to deal with, man.
Joker J buys that makeup for 1.6 figures while wearing paint sawdust covered camo. You should see the looks I get. It is fun going to a hobby store, right? And I'll go like after the fucking gym too, right? It's all like walk in after a pump, like, oh, excuse me, pardon me. I need to grab these things, these these Hobby Lobby 1/12 scale couches from the dollhouse section that I need to buy right now.
What's sad is you're probably not the one that smells the worst in that room when you get there and you're all sweaty.
Well, and there's the thing. I can't smell. I'm smell blind. So. And Talib. What's up, buddy? Talib has entered the
What's
chat.
up, sir? How the heck are you?
Listen, I'll tell you this. My wife was like, listen, before you go on tonight, I need you to come upstairs. So I went upstairs and she did the whole makeup treatment, like foundation to take the shine down. And I'm like this is weird, but you know what? I kind of liked it. I like the attention.
Did you?
Yeah. Also, I love my wife. Let me get that. I'm actually my merch. I think I'm gonna have a shirt that says "I love my wife" on it.
I think that'd be great. You know, Tony would get one. You know, you're repping his shirt right now, and he does love it.
Oh, hey, yeah.
Them tetes.
Right, yep, the underboob right there. I like how it frames everything. Check out Legend Series store.
You're like a bleached Sydney Sweeney.
Goddamn,
Zakainen got curves like the train tracks.
Oh yes, if you're applying foundation, that's a good tip from Ryan. Don't then use that to clean your figures.
That's fair.
Counterproductive.
That's fair.
Counterproductive.
Yeah. That seems like a bad idea.
I spray from the bottom with a darker tone. I use a Girl Des airbrush. I probably missed some of that conversation. To put that in the context,
I have a Extreme Patriot 105 is the airbrush that I use.
Well, now here's my question for you. So, what do you do on those for those heads, or for anything? Do you change out the millimeter on your tip on the airbrush?
No.
No. Do you know what millimeter you're using? 0.5.
I think the one I use for this is I think it's a 5. Yeah, I think it's a 0.05 or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. 0.5. 0.5 is what it is. Yeah.
Like that one I bought off Amazon. There was like 3 different ones, and the only reason I changed one out is because I bent the shit out of it while I was trying to clean it.
Oh yeah, that sucks. Now I did get this cheap shitty one from Amazon because it had a 0.3, and so the only time I've ever used this one was actually on the Arctic Assault figure I did to showcase Dad and I stuff. This is how I did the blue and gray stripes on his uniform, his camo, was with this. That's a 0.3. It did fine. I mean, there's noticeable differences on function, but as far as how it looked, it came out well.
For me, for that like the green stuff world, for those metallics, I found myself I had to thin that further, even though it was airbrush ready, and I actually had to increase the size of my nozzle and needle, whatever. I guess they're both hand in hand.
Yeah, one goes into the other, like a glove in a hand.
That's removes that shine, like living in a state like Louisiana. Yep, I the plastic flower scrapbooking. Now, Ryan Laser Pants, he knows about the scrapbooking section.
Does he? Are you making fictitious claims?
Nope. I promise you,
sure?
he knows. He's done scrapbooking Saturdays.
I don't know. Sounds like a dick fur.
Let's go looking for a dick fur or maybe some snipe hunting after that.
Yeah, there we go.
Look, he's saying he uses the 0.3. I think that's what I'm using now.
0.3 gets some really, really nice detail. I think this is a 0.5, but man, I could be wrong.
Shane does not have time for makeup. Some
Doesn't have time.
Louisiana. Like, who's talking smack? What, Louisiana?
No, I think it was a good thing.
I think it was good, man. Easy.
Yeah. I've never been to Louisiana, but I love the food. Big Cajun fan.
I don't know if you're making a reference to steroids or what, but I will not hear of this. I'm hiding this.
That's got dick joke vibes, I thought.
I'm making Woody invisible. Oh, see, I was assuming steroids.
Ooh. Revoked.
But it's okay.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
All right. HGC. There you go.
Louisiana time here.
Oh.
Oh, hey, why Vegeta? Or Vegeta. I'm going to say Vegeta. Why the Vegeta?
Oh, with a little bit of the
Yes, those rhino dick pills.
They'll increase your needle. That's what allegedly.
And by the way, Shane, you're correct. It's Woody. It's dick and fart jokes. Yeah, you're right. Again, my head. I have my own bias when it comes to it. I've been accused of using steroids, and it makes me smile every time. I'm like, oh, thanks.
Woody has other material. There's German jokes sometimes.
I mean, they're about farts and dicks, but they're German based. Now, when you're doing do you set up a deal where you're doing it's like, okay, I'm going to set these up and you'll have another project that you'll do painting on and shift over while you're waiting on something?
Sure.
To dry.
Yeah. I do it a lot with these little pieces of foam. I'll get a project on one piece, then I'll move to another. Sometimes it's one of the bigger pieces of foam, so I'll have a full figure, each piece on its own little skewer. And then while that one's drying, curing, I'll start working on something else, because applying fresh coats of paint on something that's not quite cured is fine, but when you're talking about assembly, you really want it to be fully cured. So if you're painting an entire figure, wait till the next day and let it fully set before you get into it. That's something that I have had to work on over the years, because I'm impatient with it. I want to keep going in the process
because you got everything set up. You're like, well, I want to go.
Right. You've got everything's right there. You're already into it. You're passionate about it. Your mind's in that space. So you want to keep going and keep pushing, but you're going to undo a lot of your work if you're not careful. And I've done that several times.
Now, I've noticed when I'm doing an airbrush, and if I'm doing any sort of, again, I'm smaller scale, but when I'm doing it, typically that airbrush, when I'm doing that paint, dries. Because that air from that airbrush,
so thin, it's aerating, it's already drying as it hits the medium. Yeah, for sure.
Now, do you notice are the resins, do they take longer to dry as far as the material goes? Because I haven't really painted that, other than if you're counting the miniatures.
I've not experienced a difference in resins. There probably would be, if you really went with some real dog shit. There's probably some difference, but the stuff I've bought, I've not noticed that at all.
Then Maximilian Tucker is going to start streaming, so I hope he stops by.
Oh, right on. Right on. Went tomorrow live at 5. Okay.
Now, Maximilian, I'm assuming this is going to be on, if I'm clicking on you, it'll be your channel. If not, guess what? 30 seconds later, check out at Maximilian Tucker going live.
In living color.
Boop. Remember, kids, let that wash dry. And then Loki's saying, I clear coat layers to hold it.
Okay.
HGC is still talking about some sort of weird psycho thing with taxidermy. Oh, does it use good resin? I have heard that. I
Clearly.
didn't know there was a
Clearly.
difference. Like, I always thought it was the machine that made the difference. But apparently it's the machine and it's the quality of resin.
Sure, yeah.
Oh, hey, G-Force Racing. What's up, buddy?
What up, G-Force?
I always love the
What's going
Gotcha
on?
Man. I always love Battle of the Planets Avatar with G-Force. Initially I thought JMK was asking a question, but it's do what you want. Do what you want.
What you want?
Rowdy is also streaming. It says steaming. I'm going to assume streaming. Oh, and here's another fucking legend. War Chest.
What?
War Chest has entered the chat. What's up, buddy?
Bam, 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 bam.
And Nico can definitely comment on the different types of resin and filament.
Yeah, I don't doubt that at all. Man knows what he's talking about. Y'all sit down and listen.
Oh, we're the first shout out for Maximilian Tucker.
Hey, all right.
You're welcome for your chub, sir. There's a lot of us out here, man. It's a big world. There's an audience out there for everybody. You know what? I even linked that in the stream and I didn't sub because I'm real bad about that shit.
You shit piece.
I link stuff all the fucking time on all these different fucking shows, and then I forget to actually sub. But not today. I remembered.
I totally understand that because like I'll be watching a video, I'll be enjoying a video, and I will totally forget to hit like, and it's usually not until like later where I'm like, did I like that? I got to go back check. 90% of the time, no, I didn't, and I did enjoy it.
Shout out to Robert, because Robert, if you didn't say that, I would not have goddamn remembered to do it.
Nice.
Also, make sure to like, share, and subscribe on this channel. Thanks.
Appreciate you.
You're not a real channel. Then there's a whole bunch of channels that are not real because, again, I forget that shit all the time.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a part-time subber.
It is 7:47. Speaking of things I'm bad with, is time.
Well, it's about time to wrap it up.
Yep, this is the wrapping it up phase. So last minute questions, fire away. I will tell you. I'll do some linking again here because we're about to get done. Roll keeper, call me an amateur. I fucking love Dan. Dan, I goddamn love you, Dan. I think Dan, you're going to Zolocon, so I'll be able to hang out with Dan again. I don't want to change a fucking tire, Dan. However, if we could avoid that this time, that'd be really super cool.
Yeah, Dan.
Yeah, check out part of our family kill circle. Tony, Legend Series, going to be on there talking to Mr. Laser Pants.
You're going to want to be there.
I'll even say this because Shane and I, it took heaven and earth for this to happen, but I had him on rumbling and ranting on my channel. So check out Shane, Same Time Toys.
Yeah, I don't know why you avoided him for so long.
Well, because I'm an asshole.
Ooh.
I mean, it's not rocket science. Oh, you can't get the day off, Dan? That sucks. Well, quit.
Well, they're coming to you.
And then Thursday after
wants to ride along
the Mega Powers Thursday show, check out our ensemble with Mikey, Jeff, and myself. We're going to be talking superpowers on Figure It Out.
That's right.
That is after this guy right here. Jerk, Gain, Skelly, Timmy. Boom, boom, boom. Right on. Thank you, Tristan.
Stopping in, buddy.
Shane sucks, that's why.
Ooh, shots fired.
Nothing but damn love from everybody.
Well,
Stacy, by the way, yeah, Stacy's like, hey, wrap it up. Wrap it up.
Always.
White Vegeta says he watched a video today of a guy using a mixture of baby powder, cornstarch, and some leftover resin to fill in some intentionally large layer lines on a filament print.
Wow.
Okay, right on. Well, Dan, you got my number, so I'll shout out to you. I'll get there Friday. Oh, and then Ken's Toys is he's been printing his first custom Lord scale vehicle. Eggplants
Heck
from
yeah.
the jerk.
That's rad.
Cooter's Garage. What's up, buddy? Yep, superpowers. We're going to go over ones that rule and ones that suck.
Yeah. We're gonna be ranting.
Mikey, what else you got to shout out here as we're wrapping things up?
Sunday I did an episode of a couple of kooks with my dad, talking about our stuff coming out this year, our plans for kits and stuff that we're going to be doing. If you didn't get a chance to check that out, check that out. And if you decide you want to get one of those kits, message John, and he can send it to you. They are ready to ship currently. We don't have a website up yet. Still working on that, but physical material is available. Outside of that,
I don't have your dad's link for Facebook, but I did link that episode, and you have that in the body, right? In the description.
Yes, his link should be there. If you don't have Facebook, that's probably the best way. If you don't have Facebook, you can send him something on Instagram as well. I think his Instagram is Force28X, and yeah.
Oh, hey, he said we sold one.
Hell yeah, dude! Hell yeah, that's awesome.
Sorry. Hang on.
There it is. There it is.
Your last
Avenge me!
Avenge me! And then yes, that's Mikey has or I think a lot of them, right?
At least these 5: the Stallone, the Trejo, the Ambush, the Goon, and Cutter, for sure came from him. Yeah.
Bo and Luke, we're not sure where Bo and Luke came from, right?
Bo and Luke came from Spartan 118.
Oh, that's right.
He was the only place I could find that had any of them. And I had done Mego heads for Jeff's Migos that he picked up at DFW. So I'd already bought some at whatever Migos scale is.
That's actually a good question, Jacob. On average, Mikey, what would you say is the turnaround time on a head sculpt, prep, and paint? One, it's the queue that you're in. We'll say that, right?
Yeah, like.
But if you're say you're number one, say you're number one, say you're like, hey, man.
Yeah, if you're going number one, turnaround time. If I have the head, then it's probably going to be around a week or so, and I'll be able to get it out. But
like right now, where are you at with a custom? Someone goes, "Hey, I want you to paint this custom head." What kind of time are they expecting with the queue going on?
Currently, that would probably be
looking at the whiteboard.
Yeah, that would be. It'd be a while. I mean, there's a lot of stuff on there, but there's a lot of stuff on there I'm still waiting for parts and pieces of. So I would say right now, if you put a commission in with me, probably looking at, I'd say safe a couple of months. But it'd probably be closer to a month.
Yeah.
And I mean, heads and stuff are easy because I can squeeze in, a head paint pretty quick. So while stuff is drying, I can usually kind of fit one of those in. It's the bigger jobs that take the like joint prep and stuff that I have to do for full figures. It's really time consuming. And,
all right, that's it. No time for questions. We're done. We're in overtime. 7:55 Central Standard Time.
We don't want to upset the tube gods.
Yeah, it's worth it. People, believe me. Wait for that time for that man's perfection with a paintbrush. High praise from Woody.
Wow, that is high praise. Thanks, Woody. That's a hell of a thing to say about a guy. No, seriously, thank you, buddy.
HJC, yes, I know you have questions, but it has nothing to do with what we're talking about, HGC.
So yeah, I think this Wednesday night thing worked out pretty good. I think I'll shoot for doing this with next week too.
I should be able to do it next week. Should be all right.
And
if not,
I guess if there's a day where you're not available to do it, I'll get a sub.
You got other people. You got some
other
peeps.
people. And I know a guy, or 50. And actually, I think Tony said he could help me out sometime. So
now, what he said, now that he gave you that compliment, now he's like, "Give me your gold teeth."
I don't have any gold teeth.
Well, not your own personal ones, the one that you
Oh.
have.
Oh,
I know what you're doing.
Out of the supply.
Yeah. It's like bottle caps in Fallout.
Right.
Our little circle of friends, we just have a collection of gold teeth.
We're always looking for them when we go to stores and stuff. Like, hey, is that a gold tooth? What do you want for it?
All right. And yep, Stacey's like, do it again next week. Do it.
All right.
We'll do that show one more time. Again, Legend Series on 3POA. Go check that shit out. Figure it out Thursday. Yeah. We did all our shout outs. We're done, buddy.
We're done. We're done. Guys, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Hope to see you next week. Until our paths meet again.